All right, everyone. I think we're ready to get started here. It's 11:02, so let's get moving. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for today's Top-Rated Seller webinar series. My name is Eric Nash. I'm from Stamps.com, and I'll be hosting today's webinar along with Mark Levine, CEO of BubbleFast. I'm sure many of you have heard Mark on eBay Radio or seen him or his wife, Robin, at the eBay on Location events. BubbleFast is a family-owned company, and they provide shipping supplies at great prices and offer excellent customer support. So please check them out the next time you're ordering your shipping supplies. Our topic for today is the USPS postage rate increase, and we'll be discussing how the new postage rates are going to affect your mailing and shipping costs in 2013. Nobody likes a postage rate increase, of course, but they seem to happen every year, unfortunately. So we're going to talk about that and go into detail. Before we get started, I wanted to go over some quick housekeeping items. At the end of the presentation, we'll have a 10 to 15-minute period for Q&A. If you have a question, please type it in the question box on your side panel, on your GoToWebinar side panel there. Also, this webinar is being recorded, and a link to the recording is going to be sent out in a follow-up email. It will be sent out tomorrow. The link will also be put on our webpage as well. Lastly, if you're having audio problems and you're using your computer, we suggest using the call number that came in your email. And if you're having audio problems on the phone, hang up and try calling in again and see if you can get a better connection. If this is your first time attending one of our webinars, welcome. The Top Rated Seller webinar program is a monthly webinar series that's customized for eBay sellers. Our goal is to provide great tips and info on how you can grow your eBay sales. We have at least one webinar every month, and for 2013 we'll probably be having more. But we cover a variety of different topics, from shipping and accounting to designing your eBay store and improving your product listings. We suggest everybody sign up for our newsletter so you can get updates on all the new webinars that are coming up. You can also get access to the past recorded webinars. We have 14 previous webinars in our library, including everything from Pinterest to accounting and everything else. So check them out when you get a chance. You can sign up for our newsletter to get info on all the upcoming webinars at pagemage.com/top-rated-seller-webinars. Again, that's pagemage.com/top-rated-seller-webinars. You can also stay connected to us in our Facebook group. We have over 500 members in the group, and it's very exciting. It's a great place to ask questions, and you can get advice for your eBay sales. It's a very responsive group, and you'll get a ton of great feedback from experienced eBay sellers. So we certainly suggest you go to our Facebook group and check it out. Our next webinar is titled The Lowdown on Income Taxes for eBay Sellers. It's going to cover how to deal with income tax as a seller on eBay. It's a two-part series, with the first session covering the basics on Wednesday, February 13th at 11 a.m. The second session is going to be a little bit more for intermediate sellers, and it's going to be on February 27th at 11 a.m. So we've got two webinars in February. Both webinars will be presented by Cliff Inico, an attorney and author of many eBay books, and Laura Messerschmidt from Outright. She's done a few other webinars for us. All have been great. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to learn about taxes before the April 15th deadline. So make sure you come back and check them out. Our hosts for the Top Rated Seller webinar series are Kat Simpson of ThatCat.com and Karen Locker of SolutionsForEcommerce.com. Kat is normally the host for all of our webinars, but she was unable to attend today, so I'm filling in for her. Karen is also a host, and she's with us today. Hello, Karen.
Hey, Eric. Hi, everyone.
All right. Karen will be managing all of your questions at the end of the webinar. And so Kat and Karen both have a ton of knowledge in selling on eBay and other e-commerce platforms. And they're always sharing their expertise in the webinars and on our Facebook page. So we're very grateful to have them be a part of the webinar series. The Top Rated Seller webinar series is available for free thanks to our great sponsors who underwrite the webinars. Our sponsors are eBay Radio. You can listen to Lee and Griff every Tuesday and Thursday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for some great advice and tips on growing your eBay sales. Outright, which helps make bookkeeping simple by importing your sales and expense transactions directly from marketplaces like eBay. Also Terapeak, they allow you to research product prices on eBay and help you sell your products at the highest prices, which is always a good thing. Also, PageMage's Smart Gallery. It's a free service that lets you advertise your other products in your eBay listings so you can sell more items when your buyers come to your pages. And last but not least, Stamps.com allows you to save time by printing your Postal Service shipping labels faster and more efficiently, leaving you more time to do revenue-generating opportunities. Okay, we're done with the housekeeping, so let's get into the topics we're going to discuss today. We'll start with a summary of the 2013 postage rate increase, discussing some key areas that are changing and how it's going to affect you. Then we'll compare the new USPS rates with other carriers like FedEx and UPS. We'll also discuss some of the new services, as well as some changes to international shipping, primarily flat rate shipping. Then we'll go into the details of the rate change for some of the most popular mail classes, such as first class and also priority mail. And lastly, we'll have Q&A at the very end. And so just a reminder, if you have a question, please use your question box that we'll get into Karen, and she'll get that forwarded over to Mark and I. All right, to start out, I wanted to point out that the 2013 USPS postage rates have already gone into effect. So that's very important. They started this past Sunday. Any postage that you print now must have the new rates in order to be delivered correctly. So if you don't have the new rates, if you happen to have the old postage printed, it could either be sent back to you for postage due, or worse, it could go to one of your buyers and asking them to pay for postage to get the package delivered. Let's go over some quick areas that are changing. The first item is that the USPS has renamed First Class Mail International to First Class Package International Service. The service also offers discounts of up to 10% off post office rates if you print your postage online. That's new this year. Another big item for 2013 is that delivery confirmation is being added to the First Class International Service for packages going to Canada and Canada only. Very important. It's only going to occur for Canada only right now. And if you ship larger or heavier items using Parcel Post is being renamed Standard Post. And the service is now only going to be available at the post office. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Express Mail International flat rate envelopes are being, their maximum weight is being reduced from 20 pounds to 4 pounds. And there's some big changes for Priority Mail International flat rate going to Mexico. And lastly, the USPS has introduced a Global Forever stamp that's available for letters. It's going to be $1.10 for a 1-ounce letter, going anywhere in the world. Okay, let's start out by discussing how the Postal Service determines new prices each year and how those new rates are created. Internally, the Postal Service has two different product categories and kind of how they price their products. The first is market dominant. These are the mail classes that the Postal Service has a monopoly on. A good example is just regular letters that are sent to your house. They really don't have any competition that delivers letter mail to your home. So, you know, they have that monopoly, and because of that monopoly, the government has laws in place to prevent the Postal Service from increasing rates higher than the annual consumer price index. That's kind of their gauge and how they determine prices. For 2013, that CPI number is a maximum increase of 2.57%. Again, that's 2.57% for market-dominant mail classes. The second category the USPS has is competitive products. These are all the mail classes that the Postal Service has direct competition from carriers like FedEx and UPS. And as you can see here, it's predominantly all the shipping classes. Rates in the competitive category can be increased annually, and there really is no cap on the increase. The USPS feels competition with the other carriers like UPS and FedEx really allows for the marketplace to dictate the rates. And you can see all the different mail classes here and which category each USPS class belongs to. Mark, you can see some of the classes have moved over to the competitive list. How is that going to impact eBay sellers?
Well, I think that what we're seeing on this page is actually quite significant. Just because your revenues can't increase by 2.57% doesn't necessarily mean that your expenses aren't going to grow higher than that, which is probably one of the reasons why services in the market dominant category lost so much revenue and profit in the past years, because they couldn't raise their prices enough to keep up with expenses. By moving the services of Parcel Select and Standard Post over to the competitive side, it gives them the opportunity to raise their prices in a more competitive market, and by raising their revenues, it's going to give them the opportunity to also increase the quality of their service and shipping time and tracking. And the big significance to me is that in any competitive market, in my opinion, it takes at least 3 big players to keep each other honest, so to speak, with their pricing. And with FedEx and UPS out there by themselves, they need somebody like Parcel Select to keep them honest and bring their prices back down. So I think this is going to be very significant in the future as more and more people switch to Parcel Select and Standard Post. I hope that in the future this will force FedEx and UPS to bring their prices down and affect the entire marketplace.
That's a great point, Mark. The one thing I'd like to add too is that with the competitive services, the USPS has a lot more flexibility in what type of services they add to those mail classes, and just make them a lot more competitive products. So that's certainly a great point. All right, as we start talking about the new rates here, I wanted to point out that the USPS has 3 levels of pricing. The first is retail rates, and this is basically the price you'd pay if you were buying postage at the post office. The second is commercial base pricing, and this is the pricing level we'll be discussing in detail today, since this is pretty much what you'd be paying if you bought your postage online. Commercial base is often referred to as online discounts or online postage discounts. To qualify for this pricing, all you have to do is print your postage through an approved online postage vendor, such as eBay Shipping or Stamps.com. There's really good news in the fact that these online discounts continue to grow each year. As an example, you can see here up to 20% off priority mail. Last year, the maximum discount compared to a post office price for priority mail was only up to 15%. So it's grown up to 20% if you buy your postage online. So that's a very good thing for shippers. The third level of pricing is commercial plus pricing. This level provides really big discounts to high volume shippers. Discounts are larger than commercial base pricing, but they usually require a minimum number of priority mail or express mail packages to be sent annually. The USPS has this restriction. You have to send a certain number of packages each year. But there is good news. If you're a top-rated seller in eBay or a platinum or titanium power seller, you qualify for this discount, for this commercial plus pricing discount, no matter how many packages you ship. So that's a great extra benefit that eBay offers, and to get those discounts, you just got to print your labels off of eBay Shipping. Okay, while today's focus is on the USPS rate increase, I wanted to point out some key aspects on how the rates compare to UPS and FedEx. UPS announced a ground rate increase of 5.9% with a 1% reduction in fuel surcharge, and likewise FedEx did the same. But as you can see on this chart, which we're showing percentages of the rate increase for UPS ground, the 2013 increase for UPS ground is a minimum of 7.5% or higher for these commonly shipped packages of 1, 3, and 5 pounds. So really, the Postal Service continues to be a great deal. They're not the only ones raising prices. UPS and FedEx are raising prices each and every year as well. Let's do a quick price comparison against UPS and FedEx. And for this example, I'm going to send a 5-pound microscope from Atlanta to Miami, and it's going to go to a residence. Since FedEx and UPS discount their list rates, I've taken a 20% volume discount off their ground rate. I've added a residential delivery fee and a fuel surcharge. The final cost for the microscope going with FedEx ground is $10.35, and with UPS ground it's $10.49. If I had used Priority Mail Regional Rate Box A to ship that same microscope, my cost would have only been $5.84. So it's a savings of $4.51 per package using the USPS. So it's still a great deal. And Mark, you ship a lot of packages using all 3 carriers. How do the new rates from the private carriers as well as the USPS affect you?
Well, I have to tell you personally that what's going on right now does affect Bubble Fast in a big way. UPS and FedEx, they play this game every single year. They say, you know, we're going to raise our prices, but not a whole lot. But what's really happening is that they say there's an average of what 4.9%, whatever it is, but they're increasing their prices not so much all the way down the bottom of the heavy weights, but they're increasing their prices a lot more in the most common weights that we all ship at. So in essence, our rates are going up 6 or 7%, not what they really say. And then, okay, well, at least we're going to give you back 1% of the fuel surcharge. But every single month, you know, until it gets towards the end of the year, they keep creeping that back up higher and higher and higher until by the end of the year, you're way higher than you were at the beginning of the year. So they fool us into thinking they're giving us a little bit back, but they're really not. The post office, they do not play that game at all. And it's always been known in the past that you're better off using the post office for smaller size packages. But as we'll talk about a little bit later, it's becoming even more economical now to use larger size packages as well. Before dimensional weight came into play, the post office had so much more of our business that we had to switch over to ground service UPS or FedEx. But now, because of what I talked about earlier, becoming more competitive with better services with Parcel Select, we've actually already started moving a lot more of our business back to the post office. With the post office, you have free daily pickup. There's no fuel surcharge you have to play around with from month to month. There's no residential surcharge. There's no delivery area surcharges for remote areas. And they ship everywhere to Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, military bases. And they have the great products that are the flat rate boxes. So the post office is becoming much, much more competitive and actually easier to deal with and to figure out what is the best service to use for your packages.
That's awesome, and I'm glad you brought up those points about the surcharges too, because it's even the surcharges get increased every year. So it's so there's a lot of opportunities for the private carriers to keep increasing those prices.
There are so many hidden costs in UPS and FedEx, it's just too confusing. We have a booklet that's about 30 pages long with all of the different zip codes that have extra surcharges, and you really never know what you're paying for. So
very complex, yes. Okay, well let's talk about some of the services the Postal Service is introducing for 2013. The first one I want to talk about today is Parcel Post, which is now being renamed Standard Post, and it's being moved to the Competitive Services category. The service is going to now include free delivery confirmation, which is great news. But the big change here is that Standard Post is now only available to purchase at the post office. So you'll no longer be able to print parcel posts, or now renamed to Standard Post, using an online service, such as Stamps.com or eBay Shipping. You can see the increases here for Standard Post. It's going to go up to $5.60, which is 40 cents higher than $5.20. For all the package shippers out there who are saying, now what do I do if I use Parcel Post before? The USPS has a new option for you. It's called Parcel Select, and it's going to be replacing Parcel Post as your ground delivery option for online postage. The service level is very, very similar to Parcel Post, with delivery in 2 to 8 days, and it's a great option for oversized or heavy packages, certainly in the build pound size that are bigger. It also includes free delivery confirmation, so you're not losing anything there. Parcel Select mail service has been around for a few years, but it was mainly for fulfillment houses and high-volume shippers previously. But now the USPS has opened it up for all shippers. So you can print postage online, print a Parcel Select label, and it can just be a one package, one production. You don't have to have a lot of volume, which they previously had required you to do. One note about Parcel Select is that eBay Shipping will not have Parcel Select service yet. So if you're looking inside eBay Shipping, it's going to be a little time before it shows up. I believe it's slated to go in live in March. But one great aspect about Parcel Select is that the service is actually cheaper. It's got lower costs than Standard Post, which was formerly Parcel Post for 2013. And as you can see here on the screen, Parcel Select costs can be a lot lower here, upwards of $1.09 for a 5-pound package. This is the case up to 28 pounds. So if you're shipping 28-pound packages or lower, and you were using Parcel Post previously, Parcel Select is going to be a cheaper service for you. That changes, though, at 29 pounds, where standard post is going to become cheaper. So if you're shipping 29-pound packages or higher, you may need to take a look at the rates and determine if a post office trip is right for you. But really, if you're under 28 pounds on your packages and you previously used Parcel Post, the only real difference here for 2013 is that the name of the service is changing from Parcel Post to Parcel Select. Delivery time is going to be pretty much the same. Delivery confirmation is going to be free. Pretty much all the other services are going to be free in terms of delivery with Parcel Select. Mark, how do you see this change to Parcel Select kind of affecting sellers?
Well, the biggest change that I see is just the confusion in the name, because Parcel Post now split off between Standard and Parcel Select. And let's make it real easy for you. Unless you feel like going to the post office every time and your packages are 28 pounds or higher, there's going to be very few instances where you ever really have to use Standard Post. So you're always going to be using Parcel Select, which is exactly what the service was before, and if you still can purchase that online now. As you said, of course, you cannot purchase it on eBay just yet. So for the next couple of months, I encourage everybody to go to stamps.com. If you're an eBay seller only, you can get that service for free, and then you can print your Parcel Select packages for your eBay as well. Now, eBay still automatically changed everything that said Parcel Post to Parcel Select. So you can still have that service available on eBay. You just can't print the labels. So there are very few instances where you should have to be able to worry about using Standard. And you really don't want to use Standard for other reasons. You got to remember that there are some size issues as well, not just weight. Even with Parcel Select, you have to go length plus girth. And girth means if you take a tape measure and just wrap it around your package, that's your girth. You take that number and add it to the length, and that's a number. And as long as that number is 84 inches or less, then you can use the actual weight. But if it's between 84 inches and 130 inches, you're going to pay a 20-pound balloon rate. So please be aware of that, and that's for Parcel Select. But you only get up to 108 inches on Standard, and then there is no oversize after that. So even when it comes to the size of the package, you're still better off using Parcel Select.
That's a great point, Mark. It's you know, it does get tricky if you have bigger boxes and kind of go over those thresholds. So so that's awesome. I forgot to even include that. So thank you for bringing that up.
Well, the USPS.com website has one of the absolute best shipping calculators I've seen anybody have, and it's just so simple. You put in your beginning zip code, your ending zip code, and you put in the weight and the dimensions of your package, and every single one of your options will show up. And as long as you don't forget to put in the dimensions of your package, then the USPS.com website shipping calculator will figure that in for you, so you'll know what your best options are.
Very good. Okay, let's talk about another change for 2013. That's with Express Mail International flat rate envelopes. The flat rate envelope weight limit is being reduced from 20 pounds to 4 pounds. This change kind of moves it in line with the Priority Mail International flat rate envelope as well, which had a weight limit already of 4 pounds. So Express Mail International flat rates are moving from 20 to 4. Another change they've made is that they're adding more insurance if you use Express Mail International. You previously got $100 of free insurance, but now you're going to get $200 of free coverage with Express Mail International. You can see the prices are going up quite a bit here. They're going up from $32.59, going up to $32.59, excuse me, $5.68 more than their 2012 rate. So it's going up. Make sure you check your listings. Priority Mail International flat rate service is also changing for 2013. In years past, Canada and Mexico, as you can see here in the chart, were included in the same pricing category. But for 2013, the USPS has split Canada into its own category with prices starting at $19.95. Mexico is now being included with all other countries. So if you use Priority Mail International flat rate services, you're obviously going to pay a little bit more and quite a lot more in shipping costs. So make sure you check your listings and your prices. Make sure you're in line. And if you're shipping to Mexico, you can see you know, the price increase moving from one category to the all other country category is going up is quite a bit. Another change for 2013 is the USPS is offering a global forever stamp. This is for letter mail. The stamp will allow mailers to send a 1-ounce letter or postcard to any place in the country for $1.10, similar to other forever stamps that are going to be available at the post office. All right, this next topic here is a big one for eBay sellers. So let's jump right in. It's regarding First Class Mail International, and the USPS has renamed it to First Class Package International Service. They've also moved the mail class to the Competitive Services category. So that means First Class Package International Service is going to be eligible to receive online discounts if you print your postage online. So that's good news. You'll get up to 10% off. The bad news is, though, the Postal Service increased prices quite a bit for First Class International. And so this really impacts eBay sellers who sell overseas. The average increase for First Class International, or newly renamed First Class Package International Service, is going up 59%. You can see some different cost examples here on the screen. For a 1-pound package going to Canada, the price is going up $3.75 per package, $3.48 for a package going to Australia, and then $3.37 for a package traveling to Argentina. So from a percentage basis, it's going up quite a bit. For Canada, packages to Canada are going up quite a bit as well. Canada is one of the biggest markets for eBay sellers who ship internationally. And as you can see on the chart, the First Class International rates are going up significantly. One note, if you're shipping on other platforms such as Amazon, Amazon has only increased the international shipping credit for books. So if you're selling low-cost items and you're in a different price category, you're probably going to need to adjust your product prices to make sure you're not losing money with this increase in shipping. So that's very important if you're selling low-cost products on Amazon. But while the rates are increasing, there is some good news when it comes to tracking. The USPS is now going to be offering free electronic delivery confirmation for First Class Mail International when packages are going to Canada. And as I said before, it's Canada only right now. They're going to basically use the barcode on your existing customs form for their delivery confirmation. The only real difference is you'll see a little difference in the wording on the actual customs form for a First Class International package, and you'll also see that the customs form number will start with LZ in the barcode. Canada Post is, you're not going to have a lot of tracking once your package hits the Canada border or Canadian border. You're really only going to see, so you're not going to see scans as the package travels throughout Canada to its destination. But when they go to make that delivery or that delivery attempt, they are going to scan that barcode. And so in your USPS tracking, you'll see where Canada Post has gone to make that that package delivery. Besides First Class Package International Service, this delivery confirmation for Canada is also being added to Priority Mail International flat rate envelopes and Priority Mail International flat rate small boxes. Previously, those classes did not have tracking at all. Another important thing here is, along with Canada, the USPS has a short list of 19 other countries that they're going to be adding this delivery confirmation to. So work on that right now. A lot of it's going to depend on how the Canada project goes. But right now, it's pretty much all the other developed countries that are on the list. Places that have good, solid postal delivery services. And so hopefully those will be coming sooner rather than later, sometimes in 2013. Mark, what type of impact do you think these changes, these price increases, as well as delivery confirmation, are going to have on sellers?
Eric, this is so frustrating. There has been such a big, huge push to try to expand our selling internationally and going globally across the world, and then boom, whammo, all of a sudden we're hit with these huge increases. So what I want to say is, please don't get discouraged about this. For one thing, anybody who's purchasing internationally from the United States, they are used to spending more money on shipping anyway, and the shipping costs are going to be passed along to them. So it's really not going to cost us any more money ourselves. It just means we may have fewer sales, but please don't get discouraged and keep putting as much stuff international like you were before. The good news is that the way eBay final value fees are established is that you're only going to be paying final value fees on the product and the shipping for the lowest cost domestic shipping that you're offering. So if you have free shipping or low shipping, you're only going to pay final value fees on that. Any additional shipping that you have for international will not cost you additional final value fees. So the burden will be on the buyer and not on the seller. So just keep going.
That's a great point, Mark. It's very important because people probably see those final value fees or see the shipping prices going up, and they're thinking immediately final value fees are going up. But that's a great point. It's kind of based off the domestic number. So good deal. But yes, it's very frustrating, I'm sure. But international is still a great place to grow your sales. So we certainly suggest everybody do it. All right, let's
it's really a big.
Oh, go ahead, Mark.
No, it's really a big deal that we have the delivery confirmations now to Canada. That's something that people have been wanting for a very long time. So there is some bright news.
Yeah, no doubt there, and hopefully some other countries as well. But speaking of delivery confirmation and package tracking, we wanted to bring up how much the USPS has improved the number of scans a package receives. On the screen here, you see a delivery confirmation for a priority mail package back in April 2011. And the package encountered 5 scans as it was delivered. But if you look at this new screen here, this is from a package being delivered in December 2012, also using priority mail. You can see there was 11 scans on its way to its destination. So that's 6 more than back in 2011. Hopefully everyone out there, all your eBay sellers, are seeing this increase in the number of package scans. The USPS has really made a huge commitment to improving their tracking. I'm sure many of you have noticed that your shipping labels now will say tracking rather than delivery confirmation. Their goal is basically to get real-time scanning for every mail piece out there, and that's including letters at some point in the future. So we like to really point it out that it's almost, at some point we'll be rivaling UPS and FedEx in the amount of scans that are going on. So we hope everybody else sees that as well. Mark, have you seen an increase in the number of scans for your packages?
Oh, absolutely. This has been a point of contention for us here at BubbleFast for a lot of years, in that one huge advantage over the ground services is excellent tracking system. And in the past, all the post office had was delivery confirmation. You knew when the product arrived, but you had no idea if it even left your local post office or not. And they've made great strides in improving. It's been mandated now that they need to scan the package at every point. And you can see a tremendous amount of improvement in reality for us. It's not 100%. There's still some room for improvement, but it's made us feel much more comfortable in dealing with customers when they, where's my stuff? And you can show them some progress now that we never could before. So this is making the post office much more competitive in your decision-making process. With Parcel Select, you now have free delivery confirmations, free tracking, and so that's included in the price. And it's just going to, we are, like I said earlier, are switching more and more of our business to Parcel Select. Yes, it takes a little bit longer, 2 to 8 days instead of 2 to 5, but I feel that in time even that will improve, and tracking is going to be a big part of it.
Great news. Good to hear. That's also, you're seeing the same thing as others. All right, let's talk about some of the new USPS services for 2013, or the new rate increases. Excuse me. I'm going to focus on the 3 most popular mail classes here. First class mail here is not necessarily a big thing for eBay shippers, but it's your typical letter correspondence that you receive in the mail every day. Includes letters, postcards, and large envelopes. 1-ounce letters are increasing to 46 cents from 45 cents. Large envelopes, which the USPS refers to as a flat, is increasing 2 cents to 92 cents. And postcards are increasing 1 cent to 33 cents. Additional ounces are remaining at 20 cents. So no change there. Priority mail is obviously one of the most popular shipping classes the USPS offers. There's 3 types of priority mail. There's regional rate boxes here that were introduced a couple years back. You've got the flat rate series, which includes flat rate boxes and envelopes, and also padded envelopes here. And then you've got regular, old-fashioned priority mail. It's kind of a weight and zone-based pricing program. You can see the rates are going up anywhere from 26 cents for a 5-pound regional rate box going from LA to New York to 31 cents for a 1-pound regular priority mail package going from LA to Boston. I wanted to point out that regional rate boxes, if you haven't used them before, please definitely check them out. They offer huge cost savings for shipments traveling across the entire country for nationwide packages. They're not just a regional type box. In particular, the regional rate box A is the lowest cost option for priority mail if your packages are going nationwide between 2 and 15 pounds. Another cool way of lowering your costs is by using the priority mail padded flat rate envelope. Mark and Robin of Bubble Fast have created a great product called the Scottie Stuffer. It's based on the idea from Scott Henshaw, who's another eBay seller. I'm sure many of you have seen him in the radio shows and at eBay on locations. The Scottie Stuffer is basically a box that fits inside the padded flat rate envelope. So you get the protection of a box that can hold up to 70 pounds for that matter, but you get it at the low cost of $5.70 per package to anywhere in the U.S. So it's a really great deal, and it's a great opportunity to save. Mark, can you tell us a little bit more about the Scottie Stuffer?
Well, actually, Eric, this is a great story. First of all, one of the best products ever offered to us by the post office is this padded mailer. And it is a flat rate envelope. So keep in mind that because the flat rate means it's a flat rate price. It does not mean that you have to mail the envelope flat. So here's the story. This is a story of how the entire internet community, predominantly from eBay, got together and created a product for all of e-commerce. Originally, there's a woman, Granny Annie, many of you know, stuff from Hawaii is her eBay ID, and she ships out hula dolls. And she was shipping them out first-class mail for a certain price. But if any of her customers wanted to buy more than one, she wanted to put them together in one package. And she wanted to use the padded mailer, but she was concerned that it wouldn't offer enough protection for her hula dolls. So she went on to the River, the Ranch, and the Bay RB Radio, hosted by Melinda Jackson and Uncle Joe Adamson, and was asking them if anybody knew of any boxes that were available to fit inside this envelope. And as it turns out, as you mentioned, Scott Henshaw from the Net Store was listening to the radio, and he Facebooked BubbleFast to say, hey, look, is there any way you can develop a box that will be the largest size possible that will fit inside the padded mailer to offer extra protection? And so thusly, the Scottie Stuffer was born. And now we have a chipboard box that folds together very easily, and you can put mugs or other breakables inside. You wrap them up in some bubble cushioning and put them in there. We had Bev England from Grandma Bev Stuff. She actually put together a video, and she bubble cushioned 2 coffee mugs together, put them inside the Scottie Stuffer. The Scottie Stuffer fit inside the padded envelope. She stood on top of a table and dropped it from 8 to 10 feet, and there was actually absolutely no damage whatsoever. So here is a way, as they say, if it fits the chips. You can use this envelope very inexpensively, $5.70 anywhere in the country, and now you can fit more stuff in there safely and securely. And personally, Robin and I want to thank the entire internet community for helping to make this box possible.
That's a great story, Mark. Very, very cool to have a collaboration like that and with all eBay sellers. Well, good deal. So everybody can order those at bubblefast.com if you're looking to order the Scottie Stuffer.
I need to interrupt for 1 second because I've got like 5 questions of it. They want to know the dimensions of that box, Mark.
The dimensions of the box, and again, it's chipboard, so it's not too thick. The box is 9 inches by 5.5 inches by 3.5 inches.
Very nice. All right, let's talk quickly about media mail, and we'll try to get into some questions here. For those of you who are not familiar with media mail, it's a very low-cost service. It's available for packages containing like DVDs, music, or books, or anything like that. The one thing is it does have some restrictions on it. The USPS can open the packages up to make sure it does have, in fact, those items. But the costs are very, very low. And you can see here the rates are going up anywhere from 6 cents to 33 cents per package. I wanted to also let everyone know that that Stamps.com has created a new postage rate increase guide. It includes all the specifics on the postage rate increase with rates broken out by mail class, as well as special services. It's a 15-page downloadable PDF. You can download it right now by going to the Stamps.com blog, which is at blog.stamps.com. And if you go to the Stamps.com homepage, you'll also see a link for our blog at the bottom. Once you click on the guide, it just opens up the PDF immediately. There's no email address or anything like that you have to give. It just will open up the PDF, and you can save it right to your desktop and hopefully be able to enjoy using that guide. We're also going to include the link to the guide in the follow-up email. All right, with that, Karen, I think that's the end of our presentation, so I think we're ready for some questions.
And boy, do I have some, and I'm still collecting them, plus I have to go back and find the email ones. First question I'm going to do, since we just finished Scottie Stuffers, is how much does the Scottie Stuffer boxes cost, Mark?
Well, actually, you can get them in 5 different quantities, 10 at a time, 25 at a time, 50 at a time, which is the most common, and that's $39.95, or you can buy 100 or up to 125 in a single case. Depending on how many you get, they don't cost very much money. And the amount of money that you save by being able to put something in the pattern mailer as opposed to regular priority mail, you can save $3, $4, or $5, and it's going to cost you less than $1 a piece for the Scottie Stuffer.
There you go. Okay, let's see. This is a question for you, Eric, and it's about stamps first, and then we'll get into the questions about this. Does Stamps.com have a Mac version? Because this person is using it.
So we have a online version for Mac users. Our software is not compatible for Mac users unless you use like a Parallels device or some type of emulation software. But for Mac users, we have our online version, which you can log on through a computer or through a browser and do all that stuff. Our batch import process, which allows you to connect your eBay or Amazon or Etsy or PayPal, any of those types of accounts, to Stamps.com, that's not yet available for our online version. But our goal is to have that done here sometime in 2013. We're basically trying to mimic the software onto our online version.
Okay, and can they use the online version if they use the eBay free version?
I believe they can. I believe it's restricted to. Oh, actually, no. Maybe they can. That's a great question, Karen. I might have to investigate that.
All right.
They wouldn't be able to grab
batch
the orders.
Import. Right.
Yeah.
They would be able to batch import. Now you have your homework. Okay.
I've got my homework now.
I'm going to start at the beginning ones, and then we'll work our way down. For international rates, is there a basic percentage that they went up, or did it vary by weight size? Also, did it go up the same rate for all, or does it vary by countries?
It varies by every mail class. So if it's into the shipping category, every mail class, or the competitive services category, which is predominantly all shipping classes, every mail class has a different rate increase by mail class. And it's not an even percentage. If you were to grab, November 2012 rates versus 2013 and kind of look at them, it's not like they determined a set percentage, for priority mail and said, okay, let's put that across the board. It does vary by weights and by zones, and likewise by countries, depending on what pricing group the countries are in. So it is different all across the board, so it varies by mail class, as well as by weight and by zone. So it is different really all across the board for international mail classes.
Okay. First class and priority mail international rates just skyrocketed. Was that because of the adding of delivery confirmation? Is there an ability to send packages with a lower rate that does not have delivery confirmation?
So it's not delivery confirmation. It's really just, the state that the USPS is in and how they're comparing those rates against what FedEx and UPS offer, how they're dealing with the external country post networks. There's a lot of moving parts in determining the USPS international rates, and so that based on how those costs come into play is what determines how the rates are adjusted. So if you don't want to use delivery confirmation for international, certainly first class international or package international service is the perfect option there for you. Of course, it's including delivery confirmation for free to Canada, but for all the other countries, it still does not include delivery confirmation yet. So that really is your best option. It's really cheap. It's considerably cheaper than Priority Mail International or Priority Mail International flat rate. So if you're just looking to send low-cost items to a particular country, First class package international service is your best choice. It's the lowest cost option out there among all international shipping services, and it's really fractions of Priority Mail and Express Mail or FedEx and UPS.
Okay. Is there a USPS Priority Mail rate comparison guide available to print? You have one of those, don't you, Eric?
We do have one of those. Our 2013 version is not out yet, but we should have it complete next week. So I'm sure we'll get it up on a few different sites. We're just finalizing the PDF right now. In fact, we're trying to add in the padded envelope into that guide. So hang tough, and we'll have that Priority Mail rate comparison guide done very soon. I would say in the next week or two.
Okay, thank you. Now, there's a person who they send a lot of low weight, 3 to 10 ounce, first class international, and they're seeing almost a 100% increase. Is that just the new rates, and that's what they're going to be?
Unfortunately, yes. If you're sending low weight, specifically going to shorter distances such as Canada, the rates can be as high as, I don't know if it's 100%, but it may be 90%. It's really, really, gut-wrenching to look at those new prices for first class international. So that's not a mistake. It's not a typo, unfortunately. Those rates are going up by a significant amount. Overall, for the entire first class category, they're going up by 59.6%. And so it's a significant increase all across the board for first class international.
Keep in mind also that eBay sellers are not being picked on. This price increase is across the board for everybody, so it's going to be a level playing field. Your competitors are going to have to raise their prices as well.
Yeah, whether you're Toys R Us or an eBay seller, you're paying the same rates for the USPS, unless you have that. Actually, does commercial base and commercial plus pricing factor in on international, or is that just domestic? That's my own question.
They do have commercial. So for commercial base pricing, which is the typical online postage discounts, it does in fact factor in on Priority Mail and Express Mail International. I believe it's up to 10% off Express Mail International, and it's up to 9% off Priority Mail International. So there are commercial-based discounts for Priority Mail International and Express Mail International. First Class International is now having a new online discount for commercial-based pricing, and that goes up to 10% off post office prices. Of course, all the rates we've been talking about today are, in fact, commercial-based pricing. So, even with that up to 10% off post office prices, it's still going up, as high as 90%, unfortunately. For commercial plus pricing, they do apply to Express Mail International and Priority Mail International. I don't know what the restrictions are. If you are a regular shipper, you do have to meet set criteria to reach commercial plus pricing, unless you're a top-rated seller or platinum seller, where you get those discounts. So if you I really suggest everybody contact a USPS rep in their local area, and any eBay shipper that's shipping a lot of items should have a contact. If you call your local post office and ask to talk with the local USPS sales rep, they really can help you determine if you are eligible for commercial plus pricing. They also can just be a great resource for new USPS information and pricing opportunities. So it's free. There's nothing that you don't have to pay anything to get a USPS sales rep. If you're a shipper and you're using the USPS, contact your local post office and ask to speak with their sales rep, because they're going to provide you a ton of great info and opportunities to save and lower your USPS costs.
Okay. Now, with this same person was asking, with the increase in the USPS, First Class International, they wanted to know if they can use Parcel Select, but isn't that only for domestic?
Correct. Parcel Select is only a domestic delivery service. There is no Parcel Select for international. So if you were trying to find a low-cost international delivery service, that service is First Class International or First Class Package International service.
And I know there is a difference between a large envelope and a package in the pricing, isn't there?
There is. I don't have the large international prices for a large envelope. Basically, a large envelope is anything bigger than a regular size letter, but it's 3/4 of an inch or less. Once it goes over 3/4 of an inch thickness, that's when it turns into a package. So you could have a very, a large envelope and have it, be 3/4 of an inch or less in thickness, and you're going to have significant cost savings. And in fact, the first class international letters are still in the mailing services category. So the rates did not go up that much. They were capped by 2.57% increase. So if you're able to get your package into a large envelope that's 3/4 inch or less in thickness, there is significant cost savings you can see for your packages, but you've got to be that 3/4 of an inch thickness or less. If it's over 3/4 of an inch and you're trying to see if it's going to slide through the USPS, most likely they will notice it. They may let one or two slip by accidentally, but they will notice it after a short time, and it will get delayed and sent back to you in the mailing process.
Yeah, and the reason I knew that and asked the question is because a lot of it's funny because what I ship, I need to make it thicker for the United States so that I can send it as a package, but yet when I send it international, I send it as a large envelope a lot of times. That's why I knew there was a difference in the pricing.
Ah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, because it has to be larger than the 3/4 of an inch to qualify as a first-class package in the United States, but it has, yeah. All right. If we use like the USPS site to use click and ship, do we get the same discounts as we do if we use stamps or if we use eBay shipping?
Yes, you do. You do get those same discounts. That's considered commercial-based pricing. It's basically anytime you print postage, buy and print it online, that's considered commercial-based pricing. You are going to get the same exact discounts as if you got them on USPS.com, on Stamps.com, on eBay shipping, PayPal shipping, any of the online postage services. You're going to get the exact same discount across the board.
The difference, though, between using Click and Ship and Stamps.com is that if you ship with Stamps.com, it will automatically post a tracking number back to your eBay sale.
That's right, Mark, and it actually will import from eBay directly. On top of that, it's a much faster process. On Click and Ship, you have a lot of different screens. Also, Click and Ship is restricted to only having priority mail and express mail. They don't have any of the other mail classes. So when you go to USPS.com and use Click and Ship, you're only allowed to use priority mail and express mail. So, if your package is under 13 ounces, you're not able to use first class package service, which is significantly cheaper than priority mail.
And you can't use the internet. You can't pay for the international either. You have to pay for it at the post office if you use that, correct?
I thought you could do international postage as well, as long as it was priority mail and express mail, but maybe.
Okay. But if you use first class international, which is what a lot of us use, you can't do that either.
That's right. You can't use first class international on there.
So then you're paying full price at the post office.
That's right.
Okay.
And standing in line to do it, fill out the customs forms and everything else.
Yeah, that's not any fun. Is there a place to find out the regions for boxes A, B, and C? There's a person that they want to try to use them, but they're not sure which box goes to which region. So could you explain a bit more about the regional rate boxes?
In terms of zones, I'm guessing they're probably referring to?
In terms of zones, yeah, because I think they're thinking that A goes to one zone and B goes to another zone. So if you could just explain a bit more.
So the zones, the zones kind of do vary by mail class, more so on the international side than they do on the domestic side. But in essence, they kind of represent a set number of miles from one zip code to another. So, this is as an example, this is not accurate, but maybe zone 1 may be up to 50 miles, and zone 2 may be, 51 miles to 200 miles. And zone 3, or I guess zone 1 and 2 are usually the same. Zone 3 might be, a little farther, and it kind of goes based on miles. Maybe zone 6 or 7 might be, even farther. So it's all based on a loose mileage of how far it is from the origination zip code to the destination zip code. It varies by zip code, though, so it's not an exact science in how they have that. It's not down to the exact mile. And so the USPS has a great site. I think if you just go, if you do a Google search and type in USPS zone, shipping zone selector, what you do is you input your zip code and punch in, find, and it's going to come back and spit out all the different zones for your particular zip code. It's a great resource to use. Gives you a quick idea of what city or what zip zone your delivery zone will be in.
So can I add something to this, Eric?
You can.
Okay. So here's where there tend to be a lot of questions. There's a regional rate A box and a regional rate B box. So whatever you can fit in the regional A box will cost you as if you were shipping 2 pounds anywhere within a certain zone. So you can up to 20 pounds, I think it is. I'm not sure. But an example is that if you had a 9-pound package that was going to Zone 3, it would cost you $12.18 regular priority mail. But if you put it into a Box A, it goes at the 2-pound rate, that's $5.44, or Box B, which charges you for a 4-pound rate, would be $7.36. So the whole idea is here is try to use the regional rate boxes as much as possible, and it's based on size. Whatever you can fit. If you can fit something in the regional A, use that because it's going to ship anywhere at a flat rate within each zone at the 2-pound rate, no matter how much it weighs, up to 20 pounds. And if it doesn't fit in the A, but it'll fit in the B, then you want to use the B because it'll cost you whatever the 4-pound rate is for any particular zone. So you don't use an A or a B in different places in the country. You use the either or based on what will fit inside that package. Does that clear things up a little bit?
I think so. Eric, doesn't one of your charts that you've created break down by the different...
It does, Karen. So the regional rate box A goes up to 15 pounds. Regional rate box B goes up to 20 pounds, and regional rate box C goes up to 25 pounds. Our priority mail rate comparison guide does include all 3 of those boxes. So you can see, where you basically, it's a chart, and you basically go down by weight and then over to the particular zone you're going to, and it gives you the opportunity to find out what's the cheapest option for priority mail, including regional rate box A. And like Mark just said, regional rate box A, if you're shipping anything from 2 to 15 pounds and it fits in that regional rate box A, it is definitely cheaper than any other form of priority mail, including regular priority mail or priority mail flat rate.
Okay. Mark, do you know, can you print the the regional rate boxes through eBay shipping or PayPal shipping? I haven't used it in so long, I don't know.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's all available. Sure.
Okay, that was one of the questions I saw. Where am I on my questions? Okay. Parcel Select, will you be able to print labels online at the UPS website, USPS, I keep dropping that S, USPS website for Parcel Select?
You will not be able to. USPS.com, what's also known as Click and Ship, they are limited to only priority mail and express mail. You can't print the other mail classes. So no first-class package service, no first-class package international service, no Parcel Select. Can't print standard post there either. Can't print media mail. You can't print letter mail for that matter either, for like regular first-class letters or large envelopes. The only thing you can print is priority mail international, express mail, and express mail international.
Okay, and somebody was saying you can print regional boxes in eBay but not on PayPal.
Very, very good to know.
Yeah. All right, let's see, where else am I? Are there dimension restrictions on Parcel Select?
I'm guessing they're probably referring to oversized packages and balloon prices. Yeah, dimensional.
So I actually have those figures. I was explaining earlier. Anything up to 84 inches, which is length plus girth, will be the regular actual weight. But once you get length plus girth between 84 inches and 130 inches, then you're going to pay either a 20-pound balloon rate or the actual weight, whichever is higher. And if your length plus girth is greater than 130 inches, then you're going to pay an oversized rate. And the oversized rate is not even available for standard.
Okay. Let's see. I've got as many questions coming in as I'm filtering through here. will the mail person be able to handle the weight of the items if they move them over from UPS Ground to Parcel Select? Parcel Select.
So they move them. So I guess they're asking if a user moves a heavier package from UPS to Parcel Select, can the daily mail carrier deliver it? So yeah, the answer is yes. They can. Most packages, priority mail goes up to 70 pounds. In parcel, parcel post previously goes at very very high weight. So they're used to being able to do it. What they may do is change their placement of their mail truck while they deliver it. For their daily mail route, but they'll definitely be able to deliver heavy items.
Okay.
And keep in mind, you do get free daily pickup from the post office as long as you have at least one priority mail package or express mail package. If all you have is just Parcel Select in first class, you will not get a daily pickup from the post office.
Okay. Another question we had is, can you print Parcel Select from Stamps.com?
Yes, absolutely you can. Stamps.com has Parcel Select. It does require a download of the new software.
That's what I was just going to ask.
Yeah, so everybody, if you do print parcel post frequently, we should have reached out to you already. In the last 3 weeks we've been reaching out to people to have them download the new version. But to download or to print Parcel Select postage, you have to download the new version of Stamps.com. But once you do that, basically where Parcel Post was before, it just says Parcel Select.
Okay. And yeah, because I was talking
as an eBay user.
Go ahead.
Well, I want to add that as a user of Stamps.com and as an eBay seller, we had been using in the past Parcel Post with Stamps.com, and you would have to click on the pull-down menu to add your delivery confirmation at whatever price they were charging. And it's really cool right now because it's automatic and it's free. So it's actually a lot easier now for us to print Parcel Select than it was in the past for Parcel Post.
Perfect. And I was just going to say, one of the conversations I was having in the questions board was a person couldn't find Parcel Select, and we found out that he had version 9 and I told him he needed to update that. So I'm glad we were able to talk about that. Let's see. One more question of my written down questions, and then there's lots more in the chat room. Oh, no, I fibbed. Can you print, let's see, are flat rate express international envelopes and boxes tracked?
That's a great question. It really depends on where they're going. So in theory, yes, they're supposed to be tracked. But some other country postal services don't necessarily have the infrastructure to track packages with a scanner. Some countries, just their post systems are just not as advanced as ours or some of the other more modern countries. So while they are limited to, in theory they are limited to what country they're going to, and then you've got to rely on that other country's post to actually doing the scan. So there has been some challenges there. The USPS is working with other countries to kind of fix that process. It's been something they've been working on for some time now. So hopefully it will be getting a little better as all countries kind of get a little bit more advanced postage systems. So in theory, yes, they should be tracked, but when it comes to actual operations, sometimes it's not tracked every time. Sometimes you'll just see the exit point of where the package is leaving the U.S.
Yep, I had a package that was going to Germany that left Jamaica, New York, and just never seemed to make it to Germany. Let's see. Okay, there's a couple more questions. Let me see what I can find. Is there a list of future international locations to receive delivery confirmation later in 2013 available anywhere?
That's a great point. I don't know if they've publicly announced it. I can tell you from seeing the list, it is pretty much all of the general, more advanced countries. So I know Australia's on that list, New Zealand, Great Britain, UK, Ireland. Those types of countries. I believe Germany's on there as well. It's just countries that are a little bit more advanced and have kind of the scanning systems in place. But you might check the USPS site to see if they list it, but I'm not quite sure if they've announced that. But if it's an advanced country, it's probably one of the part of the 18 or 19 countries.
Okay. Do you know off the top of your head, either one of you, the max weight for the flat rate envelope?
It is 70 pounds. It kind of follows the whole flat rate program.
Okay.
Now, obviously, it is a thin cardboard envelope, unless you're talking about the padded mail or padded envelope. But it is 70 pounds. It's very hard to get that in there. Now, if you're talking about the international envelope, which is sometimes the same envelope, you can see it'll say it on there. It is now being moved down to 4 pounds. Priority Mail International was already 4 pounds weight limit. And now Express Mail International Flat Rate Envelope is being adjusted from 20 pounds down to 4 pounds.
Okay. One of the questions is, why aren't international packages tracked once they leave the U.S. in general?
That's kind of similar to what the question we just answered, where it really depends on the other postage services. I mean, one big difference between FedEx and UPS is that they operate in these other countries. So it's one company that's taking it from the U.S. and delivering it into China or Russia or Germany or Japan or wherever. With the USPS, you're really relying on two separate companies. You have the USPS taking the package from your house or your post office and exiting it out of the country and into the other country. So, for example, delivering it into the UK, into England, and then the local country post, which is, say, in this example, England, their local postage service would then be responsible for delivering that package. So you have two separate countries, two separate companies, essentially, kind of two separate set of operations, different infrastructure, different tracking. It just is a little bit more complex because you're dealing with two different companies, essentially. So that's the problem. It's finding, and the solution to that problem is finding a way to kind of generate a universal tracking process for all these different types of packages. And so that's what the USPS is working on.
Awesome. Okay. Here's one that's kind of specific, so maybe this is a good one for Mark. What is the best option for shipping boxes that weigh 2 to 3 pounds with the dimensions of 12 by 12 by 4? Because it doesn't really seem to fit in regional or flat rate boxes.
Well, a 12 by 12 by 4 is still under 1 cubic foot, so that would tell me that priority mail would be the best. It would be the fastest, as long as the weight is over 13 ounces, in which case you would then use first class mail.
So, and since it doesn't fit in those regional, you won't get this. But sometimes the flat rate boxes are not the best prices, are they?
No, you do need to look at the chart that is going to be coming out next week from stamps.com. It'll tell you every box and every zone and every weight class, and it'll give you the best option for priority mail. You always need to look at each of your options before you make a decision, because shipping very often costs more than the actual product, so every penny will help.
Yeah, because I find that if it fits, it ships confuses people.
Yeah, I would add, Karen, too, that generally higher weight items are always going to be, not always, but a good percentage of the time going to be cheaper going out by flat rate. But you're absolutely right. If it fits, it ships. Commercials can kind of get things confusing. And on top of that, you do have 3 types of priority mail. You've got regional rates, flat rates, and good old-fashioned regular priority mail, which good old-fashioned regular priority mail is a good option, especially if it's closer and lower weight items. So it could be the lowest cost.
Okay.
Isn't there a box 7 that's 12 by 12 by 8? If you take your 12 by 12 by 4 package and put it on an angle, you might be able to fit it in that box, but it's still going to be priority mail.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big O box, I think. Let's see, where am I? So if shippers who use stamps.com, do they get the same discount as eBay sellers that get the top-rated seller discount?
Unfortunately, no, we don't have that. The USPS requires us, we have commercial plus pricing, which is what the top-rated sellers and the titanium and platinum power sellers receive on eBay. But the USPS requires us to make sure a person's sending a certain number, hitting certain minimum levels of packages each month. And so we're not able to provide that. So we're very jealous of that if you have that. So kind of where we come into play there is if the price difference is not that much, we can make the shipping process faster, a little bit more organization, a little bit easier in terms of kind of other services.
Well, I know I use Stamps.com even when I did have top-rated seller, because if you sell on more than one channel than eBay, the nice thing is it will pull in all your orders from all the different channels you work in, so it's one shipping interface. That's my 2 cents on it.
What's best for us is, again, we sell on more than one venue, and we just load up our Stamps.com software and just prints out all the labels at once in batch, so we're not having to do them one at a time. And it saves so much time and so much effort. And it's if you got to pay a couple extra pennies sometimes, time is money. It'll save you in the long run.
Exactly. And with some, like my setup, personally, I have a inkjet printer that prints my packing slips, and my thermo printer, my Dymo prints my shipping labels, so they're all set, and I just match them up and put them in.
Yeah, I would add too is there is a huge time element there. Say you're selling on different channels, and you want to print all of your international orders from each different channel all together. You may be able to have time efficiency by packaging all of your international orders together, or particular products. You may sell like product A, a blue widget, on multiple different channels, and it's just easier for you to package and ship all those at the same time. So by connecting to each different marketplace, Stamps.com allows you to bring those orders in and then print the labels all at once, batch print them all.
Okay. Another question is, when you set up calculated shipping on eBay, which, Mark, you'll know more than I will, I think, can you select the regional rate boxes, or can you only set it by priority, express? Do you know?
I do believe you can set each individual box.
Okay. Because that was one of the questions.
So if you know,
had that choice.
yeah.
But the problem with the regional is you have to know where the buyer is to decide whether the regional is the best box, because the regional to California may not be cheaper than a standard priority, depending upon the size of the item. Do I have that right?
That is absolutely correct. What we do is, we include shipping in our prices, and we pick a zone and say this is what it's going to be for everybody. And in the far zones, you may lose a little bit. In the closed zones, you may gain a little bit, but in the long run, you break even. And by having free shipping in your eBay listings, you're going to have be better in search and get more sales anyway. So it's definitely worthwhile.
Karen, I'd add, too, that really only comes into play, I believe, in pound 1. Once you get pound 2, it's really cheaper with the regional rate box A, as long as your product can fit in there, for all zones up to 15 pounds. So I think that, regional rate box A is a great option for everybody.
Okay. Let's see. Corinna, she's left, but I can get her the answer afterwards. She ships large dolls sometimes. The box is 48 by 18 by 18 and 25 pounds, and USPS won't ship them. I wouldn't know. I don't know why. Any idea why they wouldn't, Mark?
Hang on a second. I'm calculating, actually. 18
okay.
18 plus. It's 120 inches girth plus length, and so they should be able to ship that as well. Actually, it's going to be 25 pounds. You should be able to ship that Parcel Select. Bring it back. She may not be able to ship that parcel. She may not be able to ship that standard, but for sure she'd be able to ship that Parcel Select.
Okay.
And it is still under 28 pounds, so it'll be. You did say 25 pounds, right?
Yeah, that's what the question says.
Yeah, so there's no question that will be available to Parcel Select.
Okay.
It's a 20-pound balloon rate, but it's more than 20 pounds anyway, so it should ship at the 25-pound Parcel Select rate.
Okay, I will let Corinna know that. I actually know where to find her. I'm still scrolling through. Oh, one of the issues, Eric, people are having, and you probably need to address this with your people, is if you go to your Stamps.com and you go to check for updates, it doesn't tell you there's an update. It tells you you're up to date if you're in the 9 point whatever version.
Yes, they should that should be fixed. So
okay, because that's what they're saying right now.
Yeah, if people don't see Parcel Select, just go to stamps.com/download, and you should be able to download the software.
Okay.
So
and
it's version 10.0 is the latest version that will have Parcel Select.
Okay, and you guys did, I know I got one, they did send out an email to update to the newest version.
Yes, and that's going out kind of, that will go out to based on people's shipping habits. So, you know, for people who, that email may be a little slower to get to some people if you're not using any of the classes that have been affected. So the rates automatically update no matter what. But if you're not using Parcel Select or First Class International, you may get that email, you know, a couple of days later.
Okay. I'm still scrolling. Registered International has been less expensive than Express, but is tracked and is slow. Okay, so they want your opinions on this. Registered International has been less expensive than Express, and is tracked, but it's slow and it needs to be paper taped shut. What do you guys know about that? I don't.
So I believe what that person's referring to is they're sending First Class International, but they're adding registered service to it, and that's their mechanism of tracking. So and that they're finding that that's cheaper than moving it up to Priority Mail International. Is I think what they're saying. I don't know what the new prices are for sending something registered overseas. I think that would be, there's not a lot of cases where they'd find that cheaper than Priority Mail International, but it's certainly possible. So I'd probably have to dive in a little deeper to find out, you know, I think it's kind of more closet cases than generally.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is the person that sells a lot of the real lightweight ones, the 3 to 5 ounces, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay. So that is an option to get tracking attached to a Priority Mail or excuse me, a First Class International package, is by adding registered service to it.
Okay. Okay, here's another question. Somebody recently received a package that came in a USPS Priority Mail padded envelope that was 13 by 18. So is that the regular padded envelope, or is that a different one? Because they want to know where they can get it. They don't see it on the website.
The only padded envelope I'm aware of is the 9.5 by 14.5, which is the same basic size as a number 4 bubble mailer. It's the only one I'm aware of. Eric, do you know of one that's bigger than that?
You know, no, I don't. I don't think there is one. The only thing I can think of is maybe it kind of sounds like a similar size to like the Tyvek envelopes, but that wouldn't be padded.
Yeah. Yeah, they said they got it from Campus Books Rentals, and that's how it was shipped to them. So maybe it's something that they're testing with a big shipper. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
Mark, or Eric, either one of you, off the top of your head, how big is the regional rate box A? I know there's 2 of them.
Yeah, off the top of my head, it's regional rate box A. There's 2 versions. There's a top loading and a side loading. It's a little bit smaller than the medium flat rate box. So unfortunately, I don't have the actual size right here handy, I don't think. No, I don't have it handy. But it is just a little bit smaller. It kind of fits in the trucks and the airplanes and everything else a little bit easier in how they ship it. So that's why they're really pushing it. It's just a little bit smaller than the medium flat rate box.
Okay. Yeah, this person.
I got a size of the A. What is it now? 10 1/8 by 7 1/8 by 5 is 1, and the other is 11 1/16 by 2 1/2 by 3 1/16. Just got the information from Robin, the research queen.
Thank you, Robin. All right. Here's one.
And the laugh you heard in the background was my postal carrier coming in to pick up today's shipments.
I wouldn't want to be your postal carrier. Okay, if you cut the flat rate padded envelope and wrap your package in it, does that count?
You're not allowed to make any type of fundamental edits to any of the boxes or the padded envelopes or anything like that. So if the Postal Service sees that the envelope's been cut or modified in any way, then they're not going to allow that. So that's a common complaint with, like, if it fits, it ships. You'll see people who've got tape all over the box. The actual structure of the box doesn't close properly. So in those cases, you're not really allowed. They will not accept that at that current rate. They'll try to up the rate on you because it's the box itself, or in this case, the padded envelope is not. You know, it's not at its core fundamental structure.
Yeah, I know there used to be back and forths on those, especially the cardboard flat priority mail envelopes, like some post offices. And you have to remember, too, that each post office, even though there's general rules, it depends upon the interpretation of your specific postmaster. Some people were getting in trouble for trying to make something fit that there was no way it should fit in that flat rate, and they wouldn't always take it.
Yeah, you are allowed to put tape on your boxes, but you're not. The rule is you're not allowed to alter the shape of the box.
There we go. Oh, so this guy is making it smaller. You could always fold it in half and seal it, I would think, to make it a little bit smaller. But I think the general thing with the envelopes is they want them to be the shape that they created them with. Okay, Mark, you didn't happen to write down the measurements, did you, for the Regional A? Because somebody's asking for them again.
Regional A is 10 and an eighth by 7 and an eighth by 5, or 10 by 7 by 4 3/4.
Okay. Here's another question, Eric, maybe you know. Can any of you explain why Priority is normally as cheap or cheaper than Parcel Select?
It's going to vary based on the type of you know, size and weight, and so there's a lot of different variables there. So while there are some instances where Priority Mail will be cheaper than Parcel Select, it would have been similar to Parcel Post too. You know, in previous years, Parcel Post, there were some instances where Priority Mail was cheaper than Parcel Post for certain packages. So it really varies based on destination, the weight, and then the different types of Priority Mail classes.
All right. I think I have actually gotten through all of the questions that I have. If anybody has any more, throw them out there quick. Excuse me. So thank you both. There's been a lot of information. And one of the things some people learned is that they don't pay eBay fees on the international. That was a great point to bring out, Mark. There was one other question. If you have calculated shipping, do we know, is eBay adjusting the rates for the calculated shipping in their eBay listings?
Well, I mean,
As far as I know, eBay. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Mark.
Eric.
I'll let you answer that.
The rates come back live. Isn't there a direct API? As far as I know, the rates come back live. There's a direct API into the post office shipping calculator. So if the post office rates have changed, they should change on the eBay shipping calculator as well.
That's right. They should. It's the USPS kind of uses one main API system. It's connecting to eBay shipping and all other, including on stamps.com, and so we're able to pull all those rates in real time. So the rates should have been adjusted for the 2013 rate increase as of Sunday.
Okay. I see I shouldn't have said if you have any more questions because I just got 3 more. This one person, how can she get her carrier to pick up her priority packages? I schedule online and even leave a note with the sign, but they will deliver the mail and ignore the packages. In that case, wouldn't she need to talk to her postmaster?
That's right. She should contact her local post office postmaster where that particular mail carrier would be you know, leaving or coming to or based out of. They should have that corrected immediately. So one conversation with them should have that fixed. And if you're not feeling like you're getting the service that you are expecting from the local postmaster, I would highly suggest everybody call the USPS Help Center at 1-800-ASK-USPS. And they certainly will make an immediate effort to make sure that is not occurring. You know, if you are shipping a priority mail package, that package is available to be picked up for free. the Postal Service takes that and takes that to heart. And so if they find out that that's occurring, they want to make sure that there's corrective actions taken immediately.
And especially with some of the smaller post offices, I live in a really small town. My post office, if I just leave packages out, my postal carrier always takes them, but they really are pushing me for a scan form because my post carrier gets credit for what he picks up. And those smaller towns, they really want to show the volume that's coming through, so I would think that they would want to. But then there's other ones that don't pick up stuff unless you specifically tell them. Somebody earlier was saying, you know, her carrier will take anything whether she's requested it or not, and whether she has a, you know, a request or a priority mail package, and you know, it depends upon.
That's a great point, Karen. You know, we certainly encourage everybody to try to develop a great relationship with their mail carrier. You know, as an eBay seller, you're going to be working a lot with the USPS generally because your packages are going to a residence. You know, that mail carrier is really an extension of your business. It's a partner. They're going to help you, you know, be more effective and efficient with your time as a small business owner. So we really encourage, you know, to build a great relationship. Oftentimes you'll find that, you know, they'll go out of their way to help you and make sure that all of your packages are picked up and delivered on time. And another point you brought up about rural post offices and you know, tracking and things like that. You know, the USPS is doing a lot of cost cutting, a lot of changes. You know, there's a lot of issues out there revolving around rural post offices and potential closures. So you're absolutely right. They're really looking to track everything and are trying to show that, hey, you know, we're doing a great job. We have a lot of packages being delivered through here. So, you know, I think the days of a mail carrier not being very, you know, observant of what's going on, you know, are long gone. Most of the time, you should see the carriers being very excited to help you out as an eBay seller. You're generating, you know, more revenue and more work for the Postal Service, and they should be very appreciative of that.
And you know, it also depends upon the person, because you have some mail carriers that have been around a long, long time, and some, you know, you have different personalities. Yeah. Okay. I think I have just 3 more, and then because I know we all have things. Will eBay accept the delivery confirmation that comes with a first-class international package in the event of a dispute?
That's a great question. I have not seen any official announcement on that yet. You know, the tracking just started here for Canada just 2 days ago, so I have not heard or seen anything solid yet in terms of that eBay will be accepting that as a you know, final verdict. But I'm sure they'll have some type of comment very soon.
Well,
it really is an eBay question.
Well, and I can tell you that I had the package that left Jamaica, New York, for Germany, and never showed up in Germany, and eBay refunded the buyer, but not me, because it did show that it was shipped and it left the United States. So eBay does have their choices that they make in those cases. Okay. Can we just add extra handling charges to reflect the difference, especially Canada and international shipments? What do you think, Mark?
Well, you can, but I don't know why you would want to, because even if you have free shipping, if you put in the weight and the dimensions of your package and you just select which countries you want to go, then eBay will automatically calculate what the additional postage will be for that particular country that you selected. So while you may want to put a handling charge on anyway for your shipping supplies and whatnot, I don't know why it would be any different if it's going to an international country, because the process is basically the same.
Okay. And I think this is another for eBay question more, but I'll throw it out here. This person's packages weigh more for international than U.S. because they add more protection in their boxes for international. So why can't they adjust the weight for an international package in eBay? Any ideas?
That's really not dictated by eBay. That's dictated by how much is being charged by the different postals, by the post office, how much it costs to ship by weight. The weight is the weight. So
but I'm thinking she's saying when she creates her listings, say it weighs 2 pounds if she's shipping it domestically, but it weighs 2.5 pounds when she ships it internationally?
So this might be one of those examples where you would want to put in a little bit extra handling for the international shipments because you're spending more money on packaging material and a little bit more on shipping. So that may be a good example of when it would be appropriate to do that.
Thank you. And last company. I was reading a question. Do you know, does the USPS, if you do a priority mail request pickup, will they pick up in apartments or at an apartment?
They certainly should. They may. Usually when you put the request in, you can dictate where the package is going to be. You have a little notes field. And so they can, I believe they're basically set to go to where the mail is delivered. So if there's say you live in an apartment and you have a bunch of mailboxes all together, they're going to be looking for that package there. But if you are shipping priority mail and you mentioned that please come to my apartment, they should be observant of that. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but again, the USPS is really trying to encourage people to use priority mail. So they're hoping that more people use it, and they hopefully will go that extra mile to go pick it up. But it's not a guarantee.
And if you put a note in that there'll be cookies waiting on the other end, it might just help.
and plus, when you fill out the pickup request form, it does say if there's any special location or special information about where to pick it up. Like my mail carrier, if he drops off packages for me, he drops them off down by the garage. But if I'm leaving him packages, I make him walk up the stairs to my front door.
Nice.
All right. And there was one other question a long time ago, which I just remembered. It has to do with Accutane on eBay. Do you know if using Accutane shipping you get the TRS discount like you do using eBay shipping? Do you happen to know?
Yes, you do not. In
Okay.
order to get those discounts, you have to ship inside eBay shipping. They're not available to use any of the other integrators.
Okay. Yeah. And I can't use eBay shipping because every time I try it tells me there's a problem with my PayPal connection and I still can't figure it out. So I like my stamps. Thank you.
All right. Well, we like you.
I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much. You've given us an extra half an hour of your time to answer all these questions. But I know that the postal rates did have, a lot of sellers concerned because it really is affecting their bottom lines and their costs to their customers.
Yeah, it's certainly very very nerve-wracking to see rates go up anyway. Whether it's a small percentage, but when they're a large percentage, it's very very scary for sellers. So we can understand it, and hopefully our the presentation and shipping services like Stamps.com can help people find ways to lower their costs using the available discounts that the USPS offers. So it's there's opportunities out there to save. It's just a matter of finding them.
Okay.
Well, cool, Karen. All right. Well, thank you.
I want to say there's been.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark.
Well, there's a lot of changes this year, and I've seen a lot. I've looked at a lot of different presentations, and I got to say that thank you, Eric, because yours was one of the most comprehensive that I've seen so far. And one of the reasons why I'm with Stamps.com is because of you and the fact that you're tuned into the eBay sellers so well, and you have us in mind for every change that you make in every presentation. So on behalf of BubbleFast, I do want to thank you for all the hard work you've done for us.
Hey, thank you, Mark, and it's a pleasure to be working with you. So thank you very much for taking the time out of your day today to do the presentation. And likewise, Karen, thank you for all of your work and handling all the questions. It was excellent stuff. And Kat will be back next webinar. So we missed Kat today, but we'll be looking forward to hearing from her the next time. So okay, everybody, that's the end of our presentation. I'm going to stop the recording and stop the presentation here. And don't forget, you should be getting the email here coming soon with a link to the recording. We'll try to get the recording updated to the YouTube page as well as on the site here very soon. And hopefully everybody has a great rest of the day and a very successful